Ooh, okay, quick recap of the day. Um, very long day. It's 10 hours of play. Um, I didn't actually register too late for this one. I went in pretty much on time. I think I registered sort of towards the end of level one. Um, Happy with the way I played. Majority of hands that I played were usually on in position. Attacked certain players when I could attack them. Um, with this limit game, button is super more important than even in no limit, I think. So a lot of my play was isolating. So if somebody opened in mid position, you do not want to allow a small and big blind to come in. So pretty much with if you decide you're going to play your hand on the button, whatever you have, the idea is to three bet. The worst that could happen is somebody four bets you. It's one more bet. So, you know, and usually you're going heads up and you're in position. So a lot of the early play with the blinds being small, you can do a lot of stealing. A lot of playable spots. So you can do lots and lots of things from position. So isolating a player is very important. Now, as the blinds are going up, like day two is going to be really crucial to actually have a proper hand and not to get outdrawn on too often. You don't get too many chances once the blinds are really big. So the idea is to, still isolate, still three bet, four bet in the button, and try and get into a heads up situation when you're in position. Except this time you're doing it with prime kind of cards. So the range has to go a little bit tighter and a little bit stronger. You don't get too many chances. The blinds are going to be two and a half. So it's really crucial to get in there and actually, try and get chipped up. Only top 40 get paid in this tournament. So at this point, there's like 120, 115, 120 players left. Very average chips. Average are like 87. I've got 81 in this for day two. So I've got some big bets left in me. But the idea is to just get on the rush and hopefully dominate your table. Also, table selection or where I get put is going to be really important because there's definitely a difference between pros and amateurs in this game. The pros know instantly what they're doing as far as like isolating players, three betting, four betting, going to the streets, raising you. There's a lot more to fight against when you have a table full of really strong players. So hopefully, I won't get too many of those in my big blinds when I need to steal and so on. So the pros tend to defend a lot, and they know what they're doing. So hopefully I'll get lucky with the seat draws tomorrow. So there's only one hand that I could recap, and it was against Eli Lesra. By the way, really nice guy. Enjoyed talking to him for a couple of hours. So this hand, I'm in the small blind. He's pretty short, and I can see how much of a grinder he is. He's such a good player. So I played two or three hands earlier against him, and I had beaten him. And he got one off me, and so we went back and forth a couple of times. This is before we started to kind of talk to each other. Anyway, this hand, I'm in the small blind. He raises his button. The blinds are 1,500, 1K 1,500, so the big bets are 3K. So I got king, queen offsuit in a small blind, and it's a very easy defense. So I call, flop comes ace, king, 10, rainbow. Actually, no, sorry, clubs. I've got the king of clubs. So ace of clubs and 10 of clubs are on the board. I've got the king of clubs as a redraw to the flush. Not as important in no limit, obviously, as it is. Not as important in limit as it is in no limit, because the king clubs, I can't really rep that often because there's only really one big bet that I'm gonna bluff with, and usually people are just not gonna fold if they have a good ace on those flops. Anyway, I check call. There's a big blind as well. They also check call a C bet from Ellie. Turn comes an 8 of diamonds. Now, it doesn't really change much. I'm still going to be calling one big bet. So I've called the bet on the flop, which is 1500. The turn bet is usually a 3K, or it is a 3K. So I check, big blind checks, Ellie bets a 3K, and I call. The big blind also calls. So now we're 3-way to the river, and I bink it. It's a jack of spades. I've got the nuts with the queen in my hand. Now, I know for sure that Ellie's going to check that card because it just brings in everything. Especially if we were heads up, maybe different, but we're not heads up. So I lead out. I have to lead out on that river. I've got the nuts. I'm not allowing a check back. So the big blind gets out of the way, and he tanks for a very, very, very long time. He knows I've got it. I'm pretty silent at this point. I'm not talking to him. And he folds his hand. That's how good of a player he is. But I knew that. I knew that anyway. So I scoop a pretty good pot. I do actually show him my hand, and he tells me he had ace jack. So he actually had 2 pairs on the river. I said, I know you're never betting. He goes, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to bet that river. But there are some spots where he would bet it. Because the flush didn't come in, maybe he would have bet. Anyway, it was one of those hands. Lucky that I won it. Anyway, I'm glad that I made day 2 in this one. It should be an interesting day, hopefully a long one. Thanks for watching.